Okay, guys. So I guess both the teammates are here. Before we get started, can we have the Prime Minister just come on screen and identify themselves?
Yes, I'm the Prime Minister of Team 31.
Okay, thank you so much. And can we have the member of government please come on video and identify yourself? Mohit, I can't hear you. Participant, I can't hear you properly. No, you're lagging a lot. Maybe you can turn on the audio, I'm sorry, video and try talking. Mohit, we can't hear you. Can you please come on screen and just try speaking? No, we can't hear you. Just take your time, not an issue. We'll go ahead, but we'll wait for you until you get yourself organized, not an issue. Okay. So until then, can we have the leader of the option team come on video and identify themselves?
I am the leader of the position.
Thank you so much. And can we have the member of opposition party? Okay. Thank you so much, guys. We'll just wait for the participant to get himself organized, and then we'll move ahead with the event. We just want to make sure everything's perfect. Okay. So, Mohit, can you try speaking out now? Hello? Sir, can you please help out Mohit to make sure it's all proper? Okay, Mohit, can you try speaking out now? No, we still can't hear you, Mohit. Anjali or Sir, can you please get in touch with Mohit and ask, I know what is the issue, and we can.
Okay, sure. You can.
Thank you so much.
Sir, I'm there.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much, Mohit. Okay, so he's here. Thank you so much. Yeah, Anjali, can you please come on video, please, so that we can identify yourself? Okay,
Yes, sir.
thank you. Thank you. Okay, fine, guys. With that, let's get started on with the debate. I would like to first welcome you all to the Compass Online Parliamentary Debate. It's so great to have you guys over. I'm pretty sure that you guys are going to have an amazing time. From our end, we're really excited to see such young minds coming and talking and debating about aspects and topics that's going to actually create a big, huge impact down the line in our future. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a great event. So just have fun and have a great experience regarding the same from our end. Right now, I would like to introduce you to the judge for today. We have Shubhranshu Prabhakar. Shubhranshu is a really great debater. He's taken part in a lot of parliamentary debates. He studies in NLSU, the best law college in India, NLSU Bangalore. He's secured All India rank 8 when he was applying for his law degree. And he's taken part in a lot of parliamentary debates. He's the head of his debating society in his college, and really lucky to have you over, Shubhranshu. I'm pretty sure you're going to have a great time. Thank you so much.
Good. Looking forward to a good day of debating.
Perfect. Okay. Before we start about with the debate, guys, I would like to go about with the structure of the debate so that you guys are all clear regarding the same, and we can go ahead with that. Okay. If you have any questions, just stop or raise your hand, and we can get back to the question as we go about with the structure. As you guys know, it's going to be a 6-round debate, starting with 4 constructive arguments and 2 rebuttal arguments. The constructive arguments start across with the Prime Minister speaking, and then you have the leader of the opposition party, then you have the member of the government, and then you have the member of the opposition party. After which you have 2 rounds of rebuttal, starting with the leader of the opposition party and ending with the Prime Minister. For the first 4 speeches, you have 4 minutes each to present participants, and then for rebuttal, you have 3 minutes each. Now, the next thing is there are 3 points which I would like you to know or remember. The first is the point of personal privilege. The point of personal privilege, in case any participant has to drink water or go to the washroom, or you have a bad internet connectivity and you would like to take a moment to get yourself organized again, you can call for a point of personal privilege, and we will either pause the debate or stop the timer so that you can get yourself organized again. Okay. Now, the second point is called the point of order. A point of order can be raised when the opponent team is being factually wrong or is going beyond the purview of the motion that's been set across or the topic that's been set across. Okay. A point of order can only be called upon. I will announce if someone wants to raise a point of order. So at that point of time, you can call upon a point of order. Okay. A point of order can only be called upon after the 4 minutes of any presenter is done, and it can be called upon by the opponent team. Okay. Now, finally, we have the point of information. Okay. A point of information is where you get to raise hands for, questioning the opponent team. Okay. A point of information can only be raised between the first and the third minute of any speech. Okay. And it can only be raised when you're making your arguments. The first 4 rounds is only when you can make your point of information, and you can only make your point of information by raising your hand first, and you can only make it between the first and the third minute. If you raise your hand before the first minute and after the third minute, we're really sorry, we won't be taking it into consideration. Okay. Now, when someone's raising their hands, you will hear this specific sound. Please note if you're hearing the specific sound to denote that a POI has been raised. Just give me 1 second. So you will hear this one specific sound. Okay. So I'm pretty sure you guys heard the buzzer sound.
Yeah.
You guys able to hear? Okay. So you'll be hearing the buzzer sound when a point of information is raised. Please note that the presenter acknowledge either a raise of hand or acknowledge the buzzer, and please reply with a yes, you would like to take the question, or no, you wouldn't like to take the question. Okay. If you'd like to take the question, we'll pause for the opponent team to ask the question, and then the time will again continue for you to answer the question. If you say no to answering the question, please know that you will be negatively marked for rejecting a question. Okay. That is one. Now, apart from that, to denote the 1 minute mark and the 3 minute mark, I'll be showing on screen the numbers 1 and 3 to denote that 1 minute is up and 3 minutes is up. But apart from that, you will also be hearing this one specific sound to denote that the 1 minute mark and the 3 minute mark. Okay, just give me 1 second. So you'll be hearing this specific sound, the bell ring, to denote that 1 minute and 3 minutes is up. And when 4 minutes are up, you will hear this specific sound to denote that your time is up. Okay, you guys are all aware of the sounds that will be made. If you guys don't, also one other thing when it comes to a point of information, if even after the presenter is not replying, after a raise of hand and even after the buzzer, the person who's raised their hand, please come on audio and state that you have a POI. Okay, doesn't matter if the presenter is presenting, just come on audio and raise, if they have not replied after like 5 seconds of you raising your hand and after the buzzer being rung, just come on audio and raise your question. Just say you have a POI and we'll stop the timer regarding that. Are there any questions now? If it's all clear, can we have all the participants on video so that we can start with the debate? Participants, the opposition team, can we have you on video, please? Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, with that, we can start across with the debate, guys. Whenever you're ready, Prime Minister, please identify yourself and let me know when you're ready so that I can start the timer for the same.
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. You can start whenever you're ready.
Okay. The House believes that standardized tests are not an effective way to measure the capability of students. Standardized tests have swelled and mutated like a creature in one of those old horror movies to the point that it now threatens to swallow the whole school. Standardized tests results at the student with a brilliant and intelligent mind do not shine in the test because they do not have standardized minds, which decreases their confidence and when they do not get good marks. Their parents starts comparing their children with the other kids, like देखो शर्मा जी के बच्चे को देखो, and like all these. Then not it's just not only based on marks. They do not think about the talent of the student. They just think about the marks, how much mark the student got it. It doesn't matter how talented the student is or how much practice he has done. Standardized tests results in suicides and depression when children are when children do not get their good marks. They become very depressed when their parents starts comparing themselves with other kids, and they sometimes do such very bad things like suicide, and they not only harm themselves but the others also which live around them. A few times a student has killed a teacher in the depression, and sometimes they kill their parents even when they shout on them based on the marks. Nowadays the purpose of student is just to score well in the test, not and sacrifices the real learning and its future and happiness just because for the happiness of the parents, for gaining good marks. Students, in fear of standardized tests, start cramming and lose the habit of learning and bounce themselves in a limited knowledge, like a bird bounded in cage. The fact is that we need prisons that are more like schools and schools that are less like prison. But for this to happen, both the teachers and students should get freedom. They shouldn't be bound in a cage. Teachers may end up teaching to the test rather than giving students a deeper understanding of a subject. It evaluates students' performance with considering the external factor. It creates a limited scope for learning and success. Um, it it they only me it only measures the specific areas like maths, science, not the other factors like creativity, motivation, and cooperation. The students get in depression. The fact is, when they are compared on just on the basis of marks, they get depression and do such bad things. Even if you want to go in a good university after the college, you will only or judge on the basis of marks. You can't get admission in the good university if you haven't scored well. This leads to depression and students do wrong things. And that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Participant, please know that after the 3-minute mark, you cannot raise your hand. So I'm really sorry, we can't take your POI into consideration. Yeah, so yeah, I'm really sorry regarding that. But please note that when you have a POI, just make sure that you have enough time to raise your hand regarding the same, that we can stop the participant as well. But as of now, points have been noted. Thank you so much, presenter. Does the opponent team have any point of order or a point of personal privilege which they would like to raise? Okay, thank you so much. With that, we'll move on to the next presenter. We can have the leader of the option party ready. You can start anytime.
Yeah.
You can go ahead.
I am Amrit and I am representing the leader of the opposition. The standardized tests are effective way for measuring the capability of a student, and I am opposing this motion. So, standardized tests, as we know of them, are tests conducted every year at periodically, and which are same for every student studying in a same class. And if we go for individual tests, it can be like the one who is intelligent gets a paper which is difficult, and the one who is thought to be low gets a paper which is easy. So isn't it unfair for the one who is intelligent? So he will now try to be a loser so that he can get an easy paper in order to get good scores. And also, at this point of time we are not actually ready for such a change, because it is going to lead to a chaos, because talent is not limited, it has many forms. You can't
Uh,
just
participant, I think.
group some
There's a lag.
talent.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
participant, I think you're. I'm stopping the time. I think you had a internet disconnectivity.
So am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible now. Just take a minute. There was a POI that's been raised by your opponent team. If you want to answer that or
Yeah.
not, we can work. If
Yes, obviously. Please.
okay, please state the question, participant.
Yes, as the opponent said that the talent is not limited. It's
Yeah.
beyond that, beyond the standardized test.
Mhm.
So I want
Yeah.
to ask that if the talent is not limited, then why standardized tests are conducted?
Yeah, I got your question, and as my speech goes on, your question will be answered. Thank you. May I continue?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
So, as my teacher, when he was teaching me some chapters, he told me that the syllabus which I studied when I was of your age is the same as you are studying now. So means that the syllabus is either not changed or it is changed unnoticeably. And if we change such things, with same syllabus, and we will get different question papers. So what, isn't it unfair? Because when the teacher is in a happy mood, he will prepare a good question paper, and when he is in a bad mood, then he will be preparing a question paper which is worse, which can't be done. And if we bring these changes gradually, they are effective. Yeah, I agree that these tests can be different, but they need to be done gradually. If we do it abruptly, then this is going to lead to a great dilemma for the country. Yeah, and moreover, for such things we do not have trained teachers. Yeah, every teacher has studied the same way as we are studying now, and if we see or tell them now teach students differently, means you will not be having some grades like 1 2 3 4 5, and you will be having that this is different. How can the teachers go on abruptly to this? Moreover, if such things continue, or if we bring these changes, the children who are already in some comfort zone will be thrown into more comfort zone. Like standardized tests have their particular timings. At the end of the year or the end of the month, you have a test, so it keeps you motivated. It keeps you motivated that yeah, you have to give the test. And if such thing is not going to happen, then the student will be in a comfort zone where he can give it at his own speed and his own comfort zone, which is going to kill his talent, because he will keep on delaying things. Moreover, standardized tests means there is a standard set that who is having how much potential. If there will be no standardized tests, then how can we measure the potential difference? And if there will be no potential difference, then how can a society be running? Because if some you can't just fill a tank with a pump, because there is no potential difference in tank and earth. How can this be going on? So that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, participants. The note points have been taken. Is there any point of order or a point of personal privilege that the opponent team would like to raise? Okay, thank you so much. With that, we'll move on to the next presenter. If we can have the member of the government ready to speak, you can start any point you want. Uh, member of the government, are you there?
Hello, I'm there.
Yeah. Uh, I think your video is lagging a lot, participants. So if you can, it's okay if you don't want to present it on video. You can turn off your video and present, because if it's gonna lag, then it might cause some issues.
Okay, okay. According to me, standardized tests are completely worthless. They fail to measure such important attributes as creativity and critical thinking skills. Studies indicate that standardized tests reward superficial thinking and may discourage more analytical thinking. Standardized tests don't value diversity. There are a wide range of differences in the people who take standardized tests. They have different levels of proficiency in the English language, different learning and thinking styles, different family backgrounds, different past experiences, and yet the standardized test treats them as if they were all identical to the group that took the test several years ago. They doesn't realize that a human being won't even see the creative response that machines grade these tests, and a creative response that doesn't follow the format is a wrong response. Standardized tests favor those who have socio-economic advantages. Test companies a multi-billion dollar a year not only manufacture the test, they are also manufacture the courses and program that can be taken to prepare for the test. If you have the many, you can even get special tutors that will help you do well on a test. If you don't have the money and your
Excuse me,
school,
I have a question. Yeah, excuse me, I have a question, please.
yeah, please.
You said that the socially backward classes have some privilege over the others. But if you go on and you find the perfect jobs in India, like you go for CDS, NDA, or other UPSC, then in most of them there is no or very little reservation. Then how can you say that they are so much privileged?
Yeah, okay. Here we are talking in general.
Yeah.
कोई भी व्यक्ति जो बैकग्राउंड क्लास से बिलोंग करता है वो कैसे आगे आ सकता है और एक सोशल एरिया में रह रहा है वो व्यक्ति तो उसके लिए तो वो कठिन है ना वो कैसे आगे बढ़ सकता है कैसे अपने स्टैंडर्डाइज टेस्ट के अनुसार आगे जा सकता है उसकी तो पोटेंशियल गिर गई अगर मैं यहाँ पे कर रहा हूँ एज ए स्टूडेंट मान लिया जाए अगर कैटेगरीज में डिवाइड करते हैं 70% इज इक्वल टू सी ग्रेड 80% is equal to B grade and 90% is equal to A grade. What does it mean?
So how means you say that the one who are living in backward areas can't study or they don't know how to study?
Mr.
You
Prime
don't know how
Minister,
to
no
study.
rebuttals or follow-ups, please.
Yeah, there's no
This is a
rebuttal.
bad.
Sorry, participant. We'll just have to leave it at that. Yeah, you can continue, participant. Speaker, you can continue at any point of time.
Okay, thank you. Standardized tests are worthless because so much emphasis is placed on standardized tests. Result these days, teachers are spending more and more time teaching to the test. If there is something that is interesting, compelling, useful, or otherwise favorable to the development of a student, understanding of the world, but it is not going to be on the standardized test, then there really isn't any initiative to cover their material. Instead, most of the classroom time consists of either taking the test or preparing for the test, and these shuts out the possibility of learning anything new or important. For example, because the No Child Left Behind law (NCLB) only tests regarding maths and science. That means that art, social studies, physical education, and other subjects are given far less attention than used to be in the case. Standardized testing, curating winners and losers. The losers are those who get labeled as my low student, my learning disabled kids. Even the winners are trapped by being caught up on a treadmill of achievement that they must stay on at all costs for at least 16 years of schooling and more often 20 years. The losers suffer loss of self-esteem and the damage of low expectations. Finally, my most important reason that standardized tests are worthless. During the time that a child is taking a test, he or she could be doing something far more valuable, actually learning something new and interesting. That's my point. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All the points have been taken into consideration. Uh, is there any point of order or a point of personal privilege the opponent team would like to raise? You can go, sir. Okay, fine. With that into consideration, thank you so much. We'll move on to the next presenter. If we can have the member of the option party ready, you can start if you're ready.
For me, these standardized tests are just a screening. It means that only the worthy ones should get the chance. Those who have knowledge, those who have the talent. It's just screening which separates the unworthy to the worthy. We have a thing called aptitude test, which is not about your cramming skills. It's only about how you judge things, how you interpret them. So standardized tests do really do a screening effect on the students. Like we have a talented one and who is more knowledgeable, means who has comparatively more knowledge about the specific term. Like you can consider UPSC exams, JEE, NEET, etc. For these exams, the questions are mostly which you have to interpret on your own. And like my opponent said, the competition is about maths and physics. In these exams, you don't see general conceptual question. It's how you see the question, how you judge it, how you work on it. It's not about the cramming things like you cram the formula and then you just solve it in a second or not. It's about you judged it, you understood it, you made a point, and then you solved it using various concepts. So standardized tests do really make it do really make it easy for the teachers or for those faculties who really want, the one who deserves to flourish, the one who needs the facilities to get them. If I have 100 students and only 80 are interested in studying and I teach all 100, then eventually my result will go down. My image as a teacher will go down. That is the reason we have an entrance exam or something like the standardized test, which will make it easy for all of us to know who is more talented and who is more knowledgeable about the facts and all.
Participant, there was a POI that's been raised. Would you like to answer that right now?
Yes, surely.
Can you compare a monkey and a fish through an aptitude test?
And can you compare a student who doesn't know how to swim with swimming?
Okay, thank you so much. That point has been taken into review. You can continue with the same. There's no rebuttal for this.
Next point I would like to raise is about the depression stuff. Students who really get depressed, they need to change their thinking. Like my opponent said, that many students get depressed because they do not get qualified. That's because they have their mindset, they have the environment which makes them force that it is limited to that only. There are many employees of Google who are not IITians or MITians, not even a Harvard graduate, but they are simple and BTech graduate who know how to utilize their talent. I would like to rest my words just by saying that this is just a misconception that standardized tests are creating depression and all. It is just a screening effect, and you need to face it if you want something like that. Every field has a different screening effect. Like for engineering, we have AIEEE, JIPMA, JEE, and for government exams, we have UPSC, SCR, etc. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. The points have been taken into consideration. Is there any point of order or a point of personal privilege the opponent team would like to raise? Okay, thank you. With that, we move on to the rebuttal rounds. There's just two things which I would like you guys to notice before we move ahead with the rebuttal rounds. One, there won't be any point of information that can be in the rebuttal round.
Attitude का question point बोला था तो मैं ऐसे बोल रहा.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, moving ahead with the rebuttal rounds, please note that there's no point of information that can be raised. There can only be a point of order or a point of personal privilege that can be raised in a rebuttal round. And also, just know that all the facts that need to be stated in there can be no new facts that can be brought to light in a rebuttal round. All the facts should be under the pertinence of the discussion that we've had as of now in this debate. Okay, with that, it's 3 minutes each. The leader of the option party, you can start whenever you're ready.
Yeah. Like my teammate said that it is just a screening effect. Standardized tests are not like they are something which decides your complete future. They are just like screening effects to separate worthy from unworthy. Like if there will be no JE entrance exam, then how can we get engineers? And if we can get doctors in there, means if there will be no standard set for who can qualify for what, then how can we separate how to run a country with some engineers and some doctors? We can't separate actually who is a doctor and who is an engineer. And like my opponent said that it is completely worthless. How, if you say it is completely worthless, then what do you uh, just what do you propose should it be like? Then the other one said that it leads to depression. Depression is something which comes when you choose wrong for yourself. Like if you want to be a doctor, go for NEET. If you go for JE, obviously you are gonna face depression because you won't qualify into that. Means depression is such a thing which comes from inside you. Yeah, if you choose depression, then you will get depressed because you don't choose a better stream or better field for yourself. The other one, when he was again and again saying about reservation or some backward classes, they remain at back because of these tests. If there will be no test, then the one who is actually capable can also not go in there. Even the one who is capable can easily qualify these standards. He can meet these standards easily because he is in his dreams, and he can pursue his dreams. If he is pursuing, he can get. There is nothing like the one who is living in socially backward areas, or he is like SC, ST, OBC, or even SC, ST, OBC is getting some reservation because of their lower number. And if you say that general is getting deprived of their privileges, no. If you are a talented one, you will obviously get a chance to stand. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Points have been taken into consideration. Is there a point of order or a point of personal privilege that the opponent team would like to raise? Okay, with that, we'll go ahead with the next speaker. The Prime Minister, come on video. Whenever you're ready, you can make your statements. Prime Minister?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, thank you so much. You can start whenever you're ready.
Okay. Yes, the fact is that some students are there who couldn't express themselves in the words. They just like to do practical things, like an engineer. If you say a student like, there are some kids who like to play through mechanical toys, and when it comes to the books, they do not get it what they actually mean it. They don't want to cram that theory things. Even it's a India's thing that education focuses on the theory, not on the practical things. They students starts to cramp, as the opponent said that in JE or NET, in JE or NEET, the students
Sorry, I can't hear you. Your voice dropped off. Anjali, hello.
Yeah, sorry, participant. Yeah, I just got in a call. What seems to be the issue?
His voice just broke
Okay.
up for a while. So
Okay.
start
We
again.
can wait for a minute and then get started again with the same.
Yeah.
Okay. Just wait for a minute. Uh, please, participant, just take a minute to get yourself organized and we can start from the start for yourself. Please come on video to identify yourself. Yeah. Is the participant there? Is he present? Uh, please, can his teammate just come and help him out, please? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Participant, the Prime Minister, are you there?
Yes, sorry for network issue, point of personal privilege.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
Please know that you're organized yourself and we can continue with the same. You can start from the very beginning because we couldn't hear most of it. And you can start from the very beginning when you're ready, from the very start.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's it's a student mind which is just beyond the books. It's the talent which can't be just um, which can't be just identified or recognized through exams. A talent is what it's just other than exams. Like there's just you can see Mark that CEO of Google and CEO of Facebook. They and even though Steve Jobs, they do, Albert Einstein. He's one of the students who haven't studied in colleges and this. He dropped his college and studied himself. As you can see, he is one of the great scientists who haven't given these standardized tests and is one of the successful men. So just it's the knowledge just not only based on the test, it's practically based. You know what you know, and you even that Albert Einstein who couldn't even learn the address where he want to go, he couldn't learn that even. So how can you accept that students uh, with uh, with talent that they can cram all these things? When it comes on the practical life, they do great. When it comes in theory, they forget, and it's common. Even though when we went for competitions, we forget something. What but we know what it actually is. And yes, as the opponent say that the student who would have interest in JE and it, he will go and he will go. But what if he can't go on the theory base? He knows what practically comes, and yeah, he'll do is great and 100%, but he can't do 100% in exam. It's sometimes there's a lot of confusion, and when the confusion.
Yes, participant. Participant, I'm sorry we can't hear you.
Point of personal privilege. Sorry, my network. There's network issue.
Okay, you can continue. You can resume from where you left off.
Wait a minute. The students who have interest in JE and NET, they have talent. They have more than talent. They have talent which can't be just uh, recognized in tests. Yeah, it's a practical thing, which is now, as you can see, if you give a formula to the student, he'll learn, he'll write that. But when it comes in practically, he don't know what to do and how to do. Yeah, in exam, he'll do like this. In this situation, we have to apply this formula, and yeah, we'll do that. But when it comes in practical life, he don't know what to do now, what's going to be, what and how to do. He becomes confused. So standardized test just prepares the students for the theory, not on the practically based. And thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Your points have been taken into consideration.
I have
Is there
a
a
point
point
of
of
order.
order? Okay, please
Yes,
state your
yeah.
point of order.
Like Anjali said that CEO of Google and Facebook, they didn't give some standardized tests. Let me tell you that CEO of Google is Sundar Pichai, and he did his IIT from Kharagpur, and he did also IIM from I don't actually remember the college, but he qualified IIM. Also means he obviously cleared some of the standardized tests. And if you talk about Albert Einstein, you said that he dropped out college. Here you are wrong. He just studied physics and mathematics. Even his mathematics teacher, he just gave him a letter so that he can get a direct entry into a college. Means if he didn't qualify better in mathematics test, then how could a teacher be giving him such a reference of his own? And
Okay,
obviously he studied physics and mathematics.
okay, thank you so
Yeah, thank
much.
you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Judge, would you like to take that under consideration? Not?
I will reject the point of order because of factual inaccuracies on both points, but I will take into account the points made. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. The point has been noted. With that, we come to the end of this debate. Thank you so much, participants. Will be notifying you about the results by tomorrow if you've gotten into the top of round of 16. I'm sure you had a great time. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a learning experience for you. And Judge, if you have any point of points which you can let the participants know if they move on to the next round or for future debates as to how they need to go about with things and where can they would have improved.
Yeah,
Oh,
sure. All participants, good round, really good round. I was really fascinated by some of the points made. However, just one piece of advice would be to focus on one particular line of argument and just analyze that point instead of moving around in circles across different points. So, if you have 2 3 points, try to raise one issue and then finish that issue by analyzing it and then move on to the next issue. Of course, you'll get the practice of structuring your whole speech as you practice debating. But I was really fascinated by all your attempts.
okay. Thank you so much, Judge. There is
Thank you,
one
sir.
other feedback which I would like to give, which I've stated in a lot of debates, which I would like to point across. Just make sure that try raising a lot of point of orders, because in this fact, what I found across is that you guys tend to go beyond the purview of the topic. Standardized test was there, but you guys have taken into consideration the general knowledge of a test. You brought in a lot of teachers aspect into it. You brought a learning aspect into it. You could have taken that as all going out of context. So you could have always brought a point of order to the same. And also for the question where a fish and a monkey type of situation, it is known that a fish is always judged by his swimming skills and monkey for his climbing skills. And you have different standardized tests meant for that. You have a kinesthetic learning, you have visual learning, you have spatial learning, and there are a lot of types of learnings that are there. So maybe if you would have see, I really like the fact that you guys are using your own set of knowledge, your own understanding of the topic to put across your points. That's really important. But make sure the next time you do a bit of research so that all these facts come into use when you're making a statement. Okay. But apart from that, thank you so much for taking part in the debate. We had a great time and we'll keep you informed regarding the same. Have a great week, guys. Stay safe. Take care. Uh, the debaters can leave the room whenever they are.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir. Thank you.
Oh, this is a turn code debate. Okay, perfect. Okay, guys, just wait for a few minutes. Let the judge come in, and then we can start with the event. But before that, let's go on to the instructions so that you guys are pretty clear, and let's not waste any more time regarding the same. First of all, can we have the leader of the government or the Prime Minister on screen, please, to identify themselves?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Would you be coming on video, Prajwal, or will you be using your audio? I mean, just your audio.
Sir, my video access is blocked. I think I have to check it.
Okay. Try doing it now. Okay.
Yes, sir. Now it is visible.
Thank you so much. Okay. Now, can we have the leader of the opposition party on screen, please? Thank you so much. 1 second. See. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, guys, let's get started on with the debate. First of all, welcome to the Compass Online Parliamentary Debate. It's great to have you young, bright minds over here. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a great experience for both of you. We, from our end, are really excited to hear your points of view and to make sure this is a very productive debate. And it's really great that you guys have chosen a topic that's going to actually make an impact down the year. So we hope it's going to be a great debate from our end. Just to make sure before we go about the debate, I would like to introduce the judge for today. We have Subhranshu Prabhakar. Subhranshu is the head of the debating society in NLSU Bangalore. It's the #1 law college in India. Uh, Subhranshu has taken part in a lot of parliamentary debates. He's educated a lot of parliamentary debates, and he's also taken part in a lot of moot courts as well. And we really have, excited to have you over. Subhranshu, thank you so much for coming over. I'm pretty sure you're going to have a great time. With that, before we move on to the debate, I would just like to explain the structure of a turncoat, just so that both of you are aware of the same. And if you have any questions regarding it, please feel free to ask a question at any point of time. Okay. Am I audible, first of all, both of you participants?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, as you know, a turncoat debate also has 6 rounds. You both have 2 rounds. So for the first 4 rounds, it goes a bit with the Prime Minister first speaks, then the leader of the opposition party, Prime Minister again, the leader of the opposition party. Then you have 2 rounds of rebuttal, starting with the leader of the opposition party and ending with the Prime Minister. Okay. For the first constructive arguments, you have 4 minutes each per presentation. And then for the rebuttal, you have 3 minutes each per presentation. There are 3 points which I would like to explain to you guys to make sure that you are aware of them. One is the point of personal privilege. A point of personal privilege can be raised if the participant wants to drink water, go to the washroom, or they have an internet connectivity issue and they would like to take some time to get organized again. So for that, we'll stop your time. We'll either stop your timer or we'll pause the debate so that you can get yourself organized. Second point is a point of order. A point of order can be stated when the opponent team is making a statement which is factually inaccurate or wrong, or if it's outside the purview of the debate. Okay. The next thing is the point of information. A point of information is where you get to ask questions. Okay. A point of information can be raised between the first minute and the third minute of a speech. Okay, say for example, when a presentation is happening, the opponent team can raise their hands between the first minute and the third minute to ask a question. Okay, if you raise your hand before the first minute and after the third minute, we won't be taking the question into consideration. Okay, so please make sure please make sure either the raise of hand or this specific sound to denote that a point of information has been raised. Please hear the sound. So the buzzer noise will be made when a point of information is being raised. If the presenter is still not stopping and answering, the presenter just has to say yes, they would like to take the question now, or no, they wouldn't like to take the question and they would like to continue with the speech. If you say no, the presenter would be marked negatively by the judge for not saying no. But if yes, we will stop the timer to ask the question and the timer will again get started when answering the question. Okay. On the other hand, for the 1 minute mark and the 3 minute mark, I'll be noting on screen the number 1 and the number 3. But apart from that, you'll also hear this specific sound to denote the same. Okay, so this bell sound will be heard for the 1 minute mark and the 3 minute mark. And when you're reaching the 4 minute mark, which is the end of your time, you will be hearing this specific sound. Okay, to denote that your time is over and you have to stop your presentation then. Okay, a point of order and a point of personal privilege can only be raised after a presentation, a presenter is done presenting. I will come make sure that I'll be asking you guys if there's a point of order or a point of personal privilege you would like to raise, and you can raise for the same at that point of time. Okay, are you guys aware of the rules? Is there any questions which you guys would like to raise?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. With that, we'll move on to the debate with no further ado. If we can have the Prime Minister on screen and identify themselves, you can start with your debate whenever you're ready.
Yes, sir. So, sir, I am Prajwal. I'm playing the Prime Minister.
Okay, Prajwal, you can start whenever you're ready.
Okay, sir. With great power comes great responsibility, but in social media, the situation is very different because there is no sense of responsibility as people are posting inappropriate things on social media that includes fake news too. So today we are here to discuss that social media platforms are to be held accountable for spread of fake news. It is believed that social media users are getting great powers like they could reach to anybody or they could post anything online. But it is not the same with other platforms. For example, when the news channels publish any news on TV, they are held accountable for the news. If they publish any fake news, then they are punished by the government or their channel gets banned. So they are solely responsible for it, but it is not the same for social media. If someone posts fake news on social media platform, then they are not held responsible for it. So social media gives you great power with zero responsibility. Now my second point is social media must have some.
Please continue. Please continue. It's just the 1 minute.
Oh, sorry, sir. This, my second point is media must have some rules and regulations on which it can work, and companies must be accountable for all these things. The social media companies should should not leave the burden of work
Yeah,
on
that,
any third.
I'm sorry, there was a POI that was being raised. Would you like to answer the POI or would you like to skip it? A point of information, a question has been raised. Would you like to answer the question or would you like to skip it?
Okay, sir, I'll answer.
Okay. Participant, you can ask the question.
Can you define fake news?
Fake news. Fake news are like the fake information that incites people's feelings or the fake information that is not true at all. So that is what fake news is.
Okay. The points have been noted. You can continue with your statement.
Okay, so my second point is the social media have some rules and regulations on which it can work, and companies must be held accountable for all these things. Social media companies should not leave the burden of work on any third party fact checking agency. Social media companies takes accountability for revenue, but it does not take accountability for the spread of fake news or the provocative things that are being spoken on their platform. It it gives the work of checking the news to some third party fact checking agency who has neither the ability nor the resources to work on it. For example, there is a video of Heer Khan on YouTube in which he is abusing and insulting many Hindu gods and goddesses, and she also may have incited some other sets of riots. So, but till date, YouTube has not put down any of her video even after her arrest. And my third point is that the problem of fake news appears to be significant only in India. There is a survey conducted by Microsoft's Third Digital Civility Index, which says that says that only Indians are most likely to encounter fake news and internet hoaxes. Among the 22 countries worldwide, Indians are bombarded with fake news and device propaganda on near constant basis from a wide range of sources, from television news to global platforms like Facebook and WhatsApp. According to BBC report, WhatsApp had become a vehicle of misinformation and propaganda, where some political parties were accused of spreading false or misleading information ahead of 2019 general elections. And our constitution has defined free speech and its limit in Article 19, Clause 2. The principle that all platforms must abide by, therefore, is simple: any content or speech on platform should pass the article of speech of Article 19 clause and that alone.
Okay,
The
thank you so much,
takedown policy.
participant. Participant, your time is up. Thank you so much. Points have been noted. Is there a point of order or a point of personal privilege which the opponent team would like to make? Okay. With that, we move on to the next participant. The leader of the option party can start whenever he's ready.
Man is condemned to be free because once thrown into the world, he is responsible for everything he does. These are the immortal words of existentialist philosopher Jean Paul Sartre, and it is this freedom that exhibits itself as our activities on social media. Social media gives us an opportunity to express ourselves, which may not be available in reality due to any factor. The fallibility of human beings is apodictic, so the fallibility of human expression should also be apodictic. This fallibility of expression is often called fake news and is inculpated for every instant of administrative, judicial, and legislative incompetence. The question is, have we really defined fake news sufficiently enough to hold anyone accountable for it? Does there exist any unbiased, rational, and ethical definition of fake news? If if there does not exist such a definition, then the proposition's argument is redundant. I plan to answer today to the best of my ability the question: is fake news apodictic or is it assertoric? Question: let's examine what's fact and what's fiction. Let's look at China. Or the question, is China a democracy? Most of us will answer, are you joking? Of course, it isn't. But ask a Chinese man and he will say, yes, of course. So if I say on social media that China is a democracy, the IFCN will strike down my post as fake news, right? That's accountability. But if I say China is not a democracy on Weibo, then the moderators of the Chinese government will strike down that as fake news. Fake news asserts the fundamental and universal falsifiability of a piece of news. But here, there are two sides of a coin. Because we cannot give a factual, unbiased, and rational definition of democracy, the same paradox is with fake news. So, my question is, if we can't even define fake news without our biases getting in the middle, then how can we hold somebody accountable for it? Without making it as an excuse to cover up our incompetence.
Okay. Would the participant like to rest or would you like to continue? Participant, would you like to rest your case or would you like to continue?
Rest my case.
Okay. Thank you so much. Points have been noted. Does the opponent team have any point of order that they would like to raise or a point of personal privilege that they would like to raise? Okay, no. With that, we'll move on to the next round. If we can have the leader, I'm sorry, the Prime Minister, you can start whenever you're ready.
Okay. The instances of fake news to get followers is used by terrorist agencies and national conspiracies. Terrorist agencies like Al Qaeda, ISIS use Telegram to gain more followers. These are not isolated acts, these are webs and chains of conspiracies that makes the world a less safe place to be. I disagree with the leader of opposition when he still says that this will become a surveillance state. Now, who is responsible for the instances of fake news if not the companies, and who? Companies take all the revenue that comes from the terrorist normal citizens, innocent victims alike. They put the burden of feeling they put the burden of freeing the network of these evils to some other agencies. How is this even logical? There was a case related to a fake news where 2 weeks after a suicide bombing in Kashmir in February killed 40 Indian paramilitary policemen, a Facebook a Facebook user called Avi Dandia posted a live video in which he played a recording of a call involving India's Home Minister, the President, and an unidentified woman. The trio could be heard talking about the arousing nationalist sentiments ahead of India's general election, with the President saying in Hindi, "We agree that for election we need a war." Within 24 minutes, within 24 hours, the government
Uh,
exposed
I'm
Dandia's
sorry,
video.
participant, you have a POI. Would you like to answer the question or would you like to proceed with your statement?
Okay, sir, I'll answer.
Okay.
How is a suicide bomber in Kashmir relevant with social media accountability of big companies?
Okay.
No, this is telling कि there was a fake news. Like after the suicide bomb was planted in Kashmir, then after a few months, this case happened. So it is related to that only.
Okay. Thank you so much. You can continue the statement.
Okay, so the government exposed Dandia's video as fake and said the video was created by splicing audio from older political interviews. To stop this fake news from spreading and creating confusion and chaos between people, the government should appoint a watchdog agency which would be government funded and would supervise over the fake news that is spreading all over the world. Or it may be better to either expand the mandate of an existing institution like Telecom Regulatory Authority of India or Competition Commission of India, etc. We need we need a new legislative framework of tech and internet service sectors. There are too many laws and too many gaps. The legislative and institutional framework must be flexible, dynamic, and evolutionary. Unlike what exists presently, we should update laws like Telegraph Act, TRAI Act, IT Act, Indian Penal Code Act, etc. So the best scenario is that they put more funds on fact checking, which itself is not possible for them because they only work for profit margins. And the worst case scenario is that the world continues to face riots, terrorist attacks, and whatnot. The victims could have been prevented if it was not for the evil fake news. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Points have been noted. Is there a point of order or a point of personal privilege which the opponent team would like to raise? Okay. With that, we'll move on to the next speaker. Leader of the option party, you can start whenever you're ready.
In our quest of truth, let's take another example, this time of North Korea. In North Korea, school textbook illustrate the genius of the supreme leader Kim Jong-un impeccably. And I'm quoting here. The Paektu blood running through the leader comrade's veins caused a bright star to appear atop the mountains on Mount Paektu. The book elaborates further that he was able to fire a gun and hit a light bulb 100 meters away when he was still 3, and by the time he was 8, he could drive a truck at 80 miles per hour. However preposterous these claims may sound, children of North Korea embrace this as fact and really look up to the comrade leader. Now let's say Facebook pops up in North Korea and somebody posts these amazing facts. What should Facebook do? Keep in mind the fake news paradox. If Facebook lets it stay, the whole world will declaim their callous attitude towards propaganda. And the company could face a reduction in profits and a charge for high treason. However ridiculous the claims may sound, no one knows for sure that they are false, given the highly secretive childhood of Kim. It may be improbable, but still possible. How is someone supposed to fact check this? You may just put a biased and irrational tag of fake news on it and move on. But where is the truth in that? The question is fake news even a thing? Is it even absolute to call something fake? This may seem a trivial example, but the fact is that the line of fact and fiction is still visible. But in the most complex and sensitive issues, this line is so nebulous that our biases finally get hold and we form opinions on what we think is true. But is this such a bad thing? Let's take another example to find out. The IFCN, or the International Fact Checking Network, supplies the fake news services where moderators can't, and in some cases even does the moderating. The IFCN chooses its members through assessors. One such assessor is Kanchan Kaur, who regularly reviews applications for Indian members. She recently rejected an application of facthunt.com because one of its founders, Shashank Sharma, did a mistake. He congratulated the Bharatiya Janata Party for their victory in the Lok Sabha polls. This was the only tweet of any political kind in his whole profile and was made a year ago. Still, the IFCN's rigorous non-partisanship policy rejected facthunt.com based on that tweet. But IFCN member, namely Alt News, has a founder, Mohammad Zubair, who frequently supports the Aam Aadmi Party and is a member of the New Socialist Movement, a party registered by the Election Commission in 2007. Ironically, Kanchan Kaur was their assessor too, yet the IFCN's rigorous policy failed this time. Now, why is this wrong? As I said, in most sensitive issues, our biases gain control. And if only a certain type of bias is allowed to exist, then how can the IFCN maintain a net neutrality? It can't, of course. And this makes the fake news paradox even more complex, because we can't define fake news, and even what we think is fake news is riddled with bias. How can someone be held accountable now? The very idea of fake news seems to me illogical, and even more illogical is the argument of the proposition, which has its foundations on a fallacy. Our inability to define fake news or even think what is fake news makes the argument of accountability preposterous, and even more preposterous than a child in diapers with excellent marksmanship. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, participant. With that, notes have been taken. Is there a point of order or a point of personal privilege that the opponent team would like to raise? Okay, thank you. With that, we'll move on to the next set of the debate, which is the rebuttal round. Just 2 points to notice that there won't be any point of information that you can be raised. All okay, participant? Yeah. So there are 2 points that you need to take into consideration. That one, there won't be any point of information that can be raised during rebuttal. There can only be a point of order or a point of personal privilege that can be raised regarding the same. Another point is that please make sure that your facts, you don't bring across new facts into light during a round of rebuttal. The round of rebuttal must only contain facts that have already been stated in the course of this debate. Okay. With that, if the leader of the option party is ready, they can start the rebuttal round.
The Prime Minister in his speech eloquently elaborated on the fact of a Kashmiri suicide bomber, and in doing so also argued for more control by TRI. This will only make the social media in India a surveillance state, a Orwellian state like the one in 1984. We need to make sure that fake news is checked on an interpretation centric and subjective model rather than holding social media companies accountable for fake news, we should actually hold the people who have posted the fake news accountable, provided that it is proven that they are fake, that it is fake. Like there are some natural truths that the sun rises in the east, the sun sets in the west, but the this is not nobody on social media gives you the fake news that the sun rises in the west. So that is why when we are looking forward at sensitive, when we are looking forward at issues that have communal colors, that have political colors, I think an interpretation centric model should take place. More than one party should interpret what is the news and then decide whether it is fake news or not. And then the person, if decided that it is a fake news, should be held accountable for what he has posted. Because if I have a hammer in my hand and I go and murder someone with it, nobody will arrest the hammer, they will arrest me. In this case, the hammer is the social media in this allegory. So why should we hold social media companies accountable when we can't accept a universal definition or a fundamental definition of fake news, where there is no standard with fake news and what is not fake news, what is political fake news and what is not political fake news. There is the line between fact and fiction is becoming fuzzier, and I think an interpretation centric and a subjective model to every piece of news posted on social media should be there. And the people who have actually posted the fake news on social media, who have used their freedom to post that fake news of social media, should be pursued with relevant legal sections or whatever by the social media company, or either by the police, either by the government, either by the prosecution, anybody. That's it.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Points have been taken into consideration. Uh, is there any point of order or a point of personal privilege that the opponent team would like to raise? Okay, with that, we'll move on to the last speaker of the session. If the Prime Minister can start whenever he is ready.
My house believes that rules and regulations should be set in order to use social media. Strict laws should be there for these companies. Government should appoint a fact-checking body which could work in close coordination with these companies and have power to strike down any fake news article which it comes upon. The government should appoint a watchdog agency which would be government funded and would supervise over the fake news that is spreading all over the world. Article 19 of Indian Constitution enables the legislature to impose certain restrictions on free speech. Any content or speech on social media platforms should pass the test of Article 19 Clause 2, because then it would not let any fake news on inappropriate information or statement pass through it. We need a new legislative framework of tech and internet sectors, and we should update laws like Telegraph Act, TRI Act, IT Act, Indian Penal Code, and IT Intermediary Guidelines of the Postponed Data Protection Act. I rest my submission with the notion that if after witnessing a terrifying act of aggression by China, we, the people of India, have wholeheartedly accepted the ban on more than 100 Chinese applications on ground of national interest, then in all probabilities I firmly believe that we as the citizen of India also take regulation of social media platforms as a welcome and thoughtful step on the ground of national interest, which comes first and always every time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Points have been taken into consideration. Is there a point of order or a point of personal privilege that the opponent team would like to make?
Point of order.
Okay, please state the
I
point of order.
don't think I think he introduced the national interest part in the rebuttal speech, and he wasn't even able to complete the freedom of speech part, and he introduced them in his rebuttal speech. I don't think that is permitted, and he hasn't even rebutted.
Okay,
He just repeated his second speech.
okay. Judge, would you like to?
Mr. Opposition, I would take your point of order because the issue of national interest wasn't brought up by the Prime Minister in his earlier speeches, and he went beyond the purview of the arguments and the constructives made. So I will take your point into account. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, participants. With that, we come to the end of this debate. We hope you had a great time with the same. The judge, would you like to make any statements or tips on how they can improve the debate, or how they need to work on, or how
Yeah,
you found it?
I like both of your speeches because both of you focused on very relevant issues when bringing up fake news. Because one important issue against fake news is how to define it, because there's a problematic scheme that gets developed in deciding what fake news in fact is. And I felt that point was very well articulated by lead opposition. Similarly, Prime Minister, I felt that your points on national security and government supervision could have been brought up a bit earlier. You could have spent more time on it, but I really appreciate the effort taken to highlight the most relevant point was that uh, that is that is an issue of national security in terms of surveillance, because there is a need to know who is actually deciding what fake news is, and whether that is to the detriment of national interests or even the citizens of India. So I felt that was well articulated. You could have spent more time on it, but I was really happy with the points you made. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, participants. But apart from that, there's just one other point statement which I would like to make. Uh, Prime Minister and both the opposition party, if you're going towards the next round, just ensure that all the points. See, one best thing that you guys did is that you had stated points: first point, second point, third point. You're stating that, so we were clear as to catch upon these points. But the thing is, when you're reading it out, it gives us that we know from the video that you're reading it out. So the next time, keep these pointers as a pointer as such in your, keep it like a cheat sheet or like a small sheet of paper with you, knowing that okay, these are the type of points, or like keep like a one slide PowerPoint on your screen to notice that these are the points that you need to make, and just remember from your mind, from your memory, as to okay, what all can I explain regarding this point on screen. Because when you're reading it, that voice modulation, the gravitas, all the expression that comes across when you're stating that point goes away. And that's one thing which I felt. See, we felt that you both have made, when it comes to the perspective, we felt that you both have done a lot of
Rishabh,
this
you dropped
putting
off
across
for a
your
bit.
points. But when it comes to making those word modulations, and when it comes to presenting them, we felt that if you can just take out that piece of paper out, and if you would have presented the very same information on your own, we would have loved it. End of the day, it was a really great presentation. It was a really great debate. But if you're moving on to the next round, this is one tip which I would like to give you. Great. Okay, guys. We'll keep you posted regarding your results if you guys have made it in the round of 16. Thank you so much for taking part in the debate. We hope you have a safe week and have fun.
Stay safe, guys. See you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. First of all, I'd like to welcome you all to the Compass Online Parliamentary Debate. It's so great to have you over. It's really nice to see young, bright minds on platform discussing topics that's going to create an impact down the line. We're really interested to see from our end a productive debate, and we're hoping to see great arguments put forward with. Before we get started with the same, I would like to introduce you to the judge for today. Just give me 1 second. Okay. Before we get started with the debate, I would like to introduce you to the judge for today. We have Shubhranshu Prabhakar.
Hi.
Shubhranshu, yeah. Hi, Shubhranshu. Shubhranshu here is the head of the debating society in NLSU Bangalore. NLSU is the #1 law college in India, and Shubhranshu has taken part in a lot of moot courts, a lot of parliamentary debates, and debates in general. And he's won a lot of awards as well. He's educated a lot of debates himself and in various institutions. And we're really lucky to have Shubhranshu. Thank you so much for spending your time to judge our rounds as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Before we go on with the debate, I would first like to explain you guys the rounds as to the structure of the debate and a few instructions regarding the same so that you guys are all clear. If you have any questions regarding the same, please feel free to raise your hand at any point of time or come on audio at any point of time to ask me a question. First, let's start off with the structure of the debate. As you guys all know, there are going to be 4 rounds of constructors and 2 rounds of rebuttal. So first, starting across, we'll start across with the Prime Minister, moving on to the leader of the opposition party. Then we have the member of government speaking, and then we have the member of the opposition party. Then we have 2 rounds of rebuttal, where the leader of the opposition party will speak, ending with the Prime Minister. Okay. Now for the constructors, you have 4 minutes per presentation, and for rebuttal, you have 3 minutes per presentation. Okay. Now there are 3 points which I would like you guys to know of. One is the point of personal privilege. Now, a point of personal privilege can be raised if your internet connectivity is low, or if you would like to drink water, or if you would like to go to the washroom. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll stop the timer or we'll pause the debate until you get organized and you come back and we can proceed with the debate. The second point is called the point of order. Now, a point of order can be raised by an opponent party when the presenter has made a statement that is factually incorrect or is outside the purview of the topic, okay, or the motion that you were discussing. Now, a point of order and a point of personal privilege can only be raised if it's a presenter, a point of personal privilege can be raised before a presentation, during a presentation, and after a presentation. But a point of order can only be raised after a presenter is done presenting their presentation. Okay, what I will be asking in general after every presentation is over, if there are any points of order that the opponent team would like to raise, and you can raise your hand for the same and denote the same. Okay, for a point of order, there won't be any addressing the issue. It'll only be upon the judgment of the judge to either take it under consideration or not to take it under the consideration based on the statement that the opponent team is raising. Finally, we have a point of information. Now, a point of information is where you get to ask questions. Okay, a point of information can be raised by raising your hand on video or by raising your hand option over there. If you're not using your video when presenting, you can raise your hand to denote that you have a point of information between the first minute and the third minute of a presentation. Now, a presentation is 4 minutes. So after the first minute and before the third minute gets over, you can raise a point of information by raising your hand or using the reaction option for raising your hand, or raise your hand option to raise your hand. Now, when you're raising your hand, this is the following. Please, the presenter, please note that when you're presenting, either notice a raise of hand or please note the following sound that you will hear to notice that a point has been raised. Just notice for the point. Okay, so you guys could hear the buzzer sound, yes? So the buzzer sound would be heard whenever a point of information is raised. And to denote that 1 minute and 3 minutes are over, I'll be showing the numbers 1 and 3 in my hand on video. But apart from that, you will also be hearing a specific sound to denote the same. So the bell sound will be rung at 1 minute mark and the 3 minute mark to denote that that time period is over. And when you're reaching the 4 minute mark, when your time is up, you will hear this specific sound. Okay guys, all cool? So these are the sounds that you will be listening to during the 1 minute mark, 3 minute mark and 4 minute mark. Please notice that if you raise your hand before the 1 minute mark and after the 3 minute mark, we won't take your point of information for consideration. Okay, that would be all for the instructions. If you guys didn't understand any point, please come on video or turn on your audio to ask and we'll answer the same.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, can you please repeat the point of information?
Okay, so a point of information can be raised by, a point of information can be raised. This is where you ask a question. You ask a question to the presenter when he's presenting. Now, a point of information can be raised by raising your hand on video or using the raise hand option between the first minute and the third minute. Now, you know that a presentation has 4 minutes. So you can raise a point of information after the first minute bell is rung and before the third minute bell is rung. So you can ask a question. What we'll do is when you raise your hand, the buzzer will go on or the presenter will notice your raise of hand and they will stop. The presenter has to stop to ask yes, to say yes or no. And as in, yes, they would like to take up the question, or no, they wouldn't like to take up the question. If they like to take up the question, we'll pause just so for the question to be asked. Then the timer will again get started for the presenter to answer the question. In case of the presenter says no, they don't want to answer the question, they would like to go about with the statement, it would be taken under negative light by the judge. Okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Is there any other questions, or we can get started with the debate? Okay. With that, let's get started on with the debate, guys. Can the Prime Minister please come on screen to denote themselves?
Sure. So, shall I begin?
Yeah, whenever you're ready, you can start.
Okay. So, greetings, everyone. So, with the technological advancement, today the country with millions of social media users is posed to a threat of spreading of fake news on the media platform. On social media, we find no editors, which thereby allow all kind of content to spread without control. Whereas in printed media, it provides a relationship with the readers based on reputation, which is not the case if we talk about the social media. Very few sites have artificial intelligence review system on social media platform. The spreading of misinformation has been responsible for the violence and the deaths of innocent. According to a study conducted by the National Literacy Trust, that only 2% of children under 16 years of age are able to identify the fake news. Even creating fake videos has a worrying consequences, as it may be harder to trust video footage as technology improves in the future. Some recent studies have
Please
even
continue.
voted the impact of fake news on the brands and organization as it harms the retailer interest by negatively influencing the consumers. People are more reliant on social media, especially during the hard times like that of COVID-19 pandemic. According to a study conducted by McGill University, false information circulated on social media during pandemic has led to people taking extreme steps during the pandemic. The National Crime Record Bureau has provided the statistics that there have been 257 reported cases of fake news in the year 2018. In case of India, due to low data tariff, people are misusing the social media. Whereas the state cybercrime report of Maharashtra state, it is difficult to keep a complete check on fake news on platforms such as WhatsApp due to encrypted messages. Thus, the social media has created a conflict between the freedom of speech and spreading of fake news.
Would you like the presenter? Would you like to continue, or would you like to rest your case?
So I would like to test the case.
Okay. Thank you so much. Points have been taken into consideration. Is there any point of order or a point of personal privilege that the opponent team would like to raise? Okay. Thank you so much. With that, we'll move on to the next presentation. Can we have the leader of the option party on screen, please? And you can start whenever you're ready.
Social media usage is one of the most popular online activity. In 2020, an estimated 3.6 billion people were using social media networking sites worldwide.
The point of
But the
personal privilege.
Yeah, please state.
Sir, I think she is not audible clearly.
Okay. Presenter, can you just try being a bit more audible?
so I'm very audible, I think, because I think due to the video it is happening.
Okay. Can you try keeping the mic next to your mouth? Do you have a wire
Oh,
mic, or it's a wireless?
no, wireless.
Okay. That's fine. You can continue. It's something that we cannot control during the meet, so you can continue with the same.
Can I turn my video off so that the audio will be clear?
We can try it using the same. Not an issue. You can try keeping your video off, and you can try presenting. We'll just check once. If not, you can keep your video on and present.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Social media usage is one of the most popular online activities. In
Okay.
2023,
Presenter, it's the same thing. So if you want to turn on your video and present, it's your call. I'm the audio quality is just fine. according to our consideration. So if you want to keep your video on and present, we don't mind. You can just make a call and you can
Sir,
start.
she is audible now. Yes.
Okay. Okay, presenter, please continue. We're starting your timer from the very beginning, so you can start whenever you want.
Oh, thank you. Greetings to everyone. Social media usage is one of the most popular online activities. In 2020, an estimated 3.6 billion people were using social media worldwide. At an average, 4.75 billion items are shared by its users each day. It is impossible to monitor each and every item to make it reliable. Many such platforms have introduced temporal interaction embedding research to reduce or break the chain of fake news. But to which extent it is right to blame social networking sites for the deeds of narcissistic people who get mixed up in the crowd for blaming others? In scientific terms, it is called psychological projection. Let's take an instance where a delivery boy delivered a knife at a house. Later, that knife was used for a murder. Can we blame or hold the delivery boy accountable for the murder? It's nothing else but the hunt with the hound and run with the camel. According to Section 79 of IT Act 2000, provides for cases when intermediaries are not held liable for the fake news spread by third parties. These sites just act as a means to reach out to a large population. Neither it instigates people to do so, nor it supports them. Why? If we uh, if we have if we are blaming social networking sites for being accountable for spread of such fake news, why don't we blame network providing agencies? They are the only one who are providing support materials to those fraudulent. Now, my another point is the privacy policy and terms and conditions of such sites, which clearly mentions that they are not accountable for any post or news propagated via these sites, and the publisher himself is solely responsible. But now the fact is, we don't have the time to read. That's the problem. Now, my next argument is we, the users of such social networking platforms, are the only ones to forward fake news. Social networking site doesn't forward it.
Presenter, please stop for a second. We're really sorry to disturb you. There has been a point of information that's been raised. Would you like to take the question or would you like to continue with the statement?
I would like to continue with the statement.
Okay, thank you so much. You can continue.
So my point is, if these sites will censor everything, we will be the only one to do a court case against them for curbing our fundamental rights. Isn't it the situation where heads I win and tails you lose? Lastly, I would say that mark as inappropriate or report. It is the option present in each social media networking site. If people have the knowledge about how to use Instagram, Twitter, then why don't they have knowledge to use these options? There are some apps which tell whether the news is fake or real, like GitHub. Why don't we use them? Isn't it our fault? Now is the time to think who should be accountable.
Okay, thank you so much, presenter. Do you want to continue with your presentation or do you want to rest your case?
I want to rest my case.
Okay, thank you so much. Points have been taken into consideration. Is there a point of order or a point of personal privilege that the opponent team would like to raise? Okay, with that, we'll move on to the next speaker. Can we have the member of government start whenever he's ready?
Yes, can I start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Fake news in India refers to misinformation in the country which is spread through word of mouth and traditional media, and more recently through digital forms of communication such as edited videos, memes, unverified advertisements, and social media propagated rumors. Fake news spread through social media in the country has become a serious problem with the potential of its resulting in mob violence. Although there is no specific legislation in India which deals with social media. There are several provisions in the existing so-called cyber laws which can be used to seek redress in case of violation of any rights in the cyberspace, internet, and social media. The legislations and the relevant provisions are many. One of them is Section 66A of the Information Technology Act of 2000. Of all these provisions, Section 66A has been in news in recent times, albeit for all the wrong reasons. Section 66A of the IT Act 2000 inserted Wide IT Amendment Act 2008 provides punishment for sending offensive messages through communication service, etc., and states any person who sends by means of a computer resource or a communication device any information that is grossly offensive or has menacing character, any information which he knows to be false, but for the purpose of causing annoyance, inconvenience, danger, obstruction, insult, injury, criminal intimidation, or ill will persistently by making use of such computer resource or a communication device, any electronic mail or electronic mail message for the purpose of causing annoyance or inconvenience, or to deceive or to mislead the addressee or recipient about the origin of such message, shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 3 years and with fine. Think of its way. Fake news is driven and shared for four specific reasons: profit, politics, propaganda, and passion. 87% of the fake news content consists of links, 10% are photos, and 3% were videos. We can infer that links were the dominant post type because their content creators wanted to drive users to their website for profit. It would be no surprise if they were clickbait headlines. A state government in India is considering creating legislation aimed at punishing purveyors of online misinformation, specifically doctored photographs. The Economic Times report in the mid-June 2018 that West Bengal officials want to clarify how the state could additionally prosecute the publication of misinformation. Currently, citizens can be jailed in the state for posting misinformation. It causes fear or alarm in public. Technology firms should invest in technology to find fake news and identify it for users through algorithms and crowdsourcing. There are innovations in fake news and hoax detection that are useful to media platforms. For example, fake news detection can be automated, and social media companies should invest in their ability to do so. Even after strict implementation of the Section 66A of the IT Act 2000, the cybercrime cases of spreading fake news are on rise.
Okay. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
participant. Points have been taken into consideration. Is there a point of order or a point of personal privilege that the opponent team would like to raise? Okay. Thank you. With that, we move on to the next participant. And we have the member of the option party come on video, please. And you can start whenever you're ready.
Greetings to everyone. Social media is only a platform for connecting people with the one whom we have lost touch with. Social media is not only for people.
Participant, we can't hear you. Participant?
Hello?
Yeah, we couldn't.
Hello?
Hello?
Am I audible?
Yeah. You can start. Yeah, you're audible. You can start from the very beginning because we lost our audio.
Okay. I will start. Social media is only a platform for connecting people with whom we have lost touch with. It is only for people, so people are the only ones who created the fake news. It is just a platform which can be used in a wise way or a nuisance way. It only depends upon the person who uses it. As we have seen in many cases, that children who are in underage often misuses it, and they also accept the policies without reading the terms and conditions. It is not about the social media, but the people who uses it. The person, even the person who not reports it is also accountably
Participant, would you like to continue?
Hello.
Hello, participant, would you like to continue?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible, but we're losing connection, I guess, in the middle.
So point
Okay.
of personal privilege.
Yeah,
Sir, I could not hear the last statement. Please, can she repeat?
sure.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, please go ahead.
The people who do these things are wrong, but those who does not report them are equally wrong. It is a pathway. The people are the only ones who walks on it.
Okay.
Here I rest my case.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Points have been taken into consideration. Is there a point of order or a point of personal privilege that the opponent team would like to raise? Okay, fine. With that, let's move on to the next set of the debate, which is the rebuttal rounds. Just before we go on to the rebuttal, there are two things which I would like to explain. The first thing for a rebuttal round is that there can be any point of information that can be raised during a rebuttal round. There can only be a point of order or a point of personal privilege that can be raised during a rebuttal round. Two, please make sure that the facts that you're stating in a rebuttal round resides inside the purview of the debate that's already occurred, and no new facts can be brought to light during the debate. Okay. With that, we'll start across with the leader of the opposition party. You can start with your rebuttal whenever you're ready.
As I said, social media is just a medium, but the thing is, we don't have the time to read the privacy conditions. There is a clause there is a common clause from Twitter, Instagram, uh, Adobe ID, Pinterest, that is as follows: you are responsible for your use of services and for any content you provide, including compliance with applicable laws, rules, and regulations. Maybe the content you come across or you pass on the may be misappropriate or inaccurate. We do not endorse, support, or guarantee it. You are solely responsible for your post. So, where is the point for holding the social networking sites responsible for spread of the fake news? They are clearly stating that they are not responsible, they are not accountable for any post which the person is spreading everywhere or propagating. Here is my case.
Okay, presenter, would you like to rest your case or would you like to continue?
I would like to rest.
Okay, thank you so much. Points have been taken under consideration. Is there a point of order or a point of personal privilege that the opponent team would like to raise? Okay, thank you. With that, we'll move on to the next presenter. The Prime Minister, you are ready to speak whenever you're organized.
Sure. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay. So misinformation in India has made a poisonous atmosphere, which is creating a disaster situation. There have been instances of online rumors, and in some cases, people deliberately deleting the tweets after realizing that it is fake. So countering content manipulation and fake news to restore faith in social media without undermining the internet will require public education, campaigns on cybersecurity and censorship to a limited extent, which often creates an issue between the freedom of speech and the spreading of fake news. With more than 300 million users on social media, the low literacy rates among the people there is an is just is affecting this issue. So there is an explosion of fake news, which is threat to country's democratic fabric itself. So just like the opposition leader stated that the people shall be held accountable for spreading the misinformation. So, but in this case, we see that the misinformation is not spread deliberately in every case. So it is due to the lack of literacy, especially in the case of our country, India. So for that reason, the tool used to spread misinformation, which is social media in this case, has to be held accountable. And we have laws for people deliberately spreading the misinformation, posing threat to public, that is sedition. So in that case, I believe that the misinformation spread through the social media shall be held accountable, and the social media and the restrictions shall be imposed on the social media. Here I would like to rest my case.
Thank you so much. Points have been noted. Is there a point of order or a point of personal privilege that the opponent team would like to raise? Okay, thank you. With that, we've come to the end of this debate. Thank you so much for participating, students. We'll let you know by tomorrow morning if you made it into the round of 16 or not. With that, please stay in touch. Have a great weekend. Judge, would you like to say something, give them tips regarding how the debate was and how you would like to make it better?
Yeah, so I liked all of your speeches. So I would have liked to hear more from all of you and probably use your time to not raise more issues, but to focus on the issues that you've already raised. So, for example, if you are making an argument bringing up a threat to democracy argument, you can develop on it by using your own examples to fill in the time. This adds to the content of your debate and also gives a very personal account to this debate. Now, that's probably my only advice to all of you. Although I really like the point that you raised, I felt that you could have made it more interactive by accepting point of orders and made it more of a constructive debate in that sense by engaging both sides of the issue.
Okay. Thank you so much, participant. Thank you so much, Judge. Sorry. Yeah. With that, thank you so much, participants. Now, we'd like to end the debate. Thank you so much for participating, and we hope you had a great time. Just if there's one point from my end, please note that if you get into the round of 16, just one suggestion is that don't use a piece of paper or don't be outside video. We understand the purviews of internet connectivity might be low, but make sure that when the next time when you're asked to present on screen, make sure that you have your internet connectivity properly sorted out. Please come on video. Do not use a piece of paper or use a phone to recite things, but keep like a bit of list of pointers which you'd like to put across, and make sure that you're covering those pointers. Make sure that you have, use your memory to get all the pointers out. Explain more about these pointers in detail on video, because that's when, the sense of voice modulation, the gravitas, and the personalization of stating the issue comes into place, and that's what's important when you're going about the debate or when you're going about with any presentation. So with that, we come to this end of the debate. Debaters, please stay in touch for more information. You can leave the presentation room. Thank you.
Once so that it can be reliable to me?
Yes, I'll repeat it. Employee count of top 5 business firms in 2020 is 1 by 50 of the top business firms in 2000. What I mean to say is, I'll explain with an example. General Motors had 500,000 employees in 2000. However, in 2020, Google, Apple, and Microsoft don't have a total of 500,000 employees. Isn't this evidence enough that technology is destroying jobs more than creating them?
Ma'am, my speech will elaborate these points. So please, can you be patient, sir?
Okay, thank you so much. You can go ahead.
Yes. So basically, I want to accommodate and to cast light on artificial intelligence is help in making world more employable. Artificial intelligence can dramatically improve the efficiency of our workplaces and can augment the work humans can do. When artificial intelligence takes over repetitive or dangerous tasks, it frees up the human workforce to do work they are better equipped for. Tasks that involve creativity and empathy among them. It could increase happiness and joy satisfaction. And after this mechanism, gradually the stress will definitely reduce and the suicide rates as well. According to the research, there are total 30 cases each day of suicide due to the factor stress. With better monitoring and diagnostic capabilities, artificial intelligence can dramatically influence healthcare by improving the operation of healthcare facilities and medical organizations. Artificial intelligence can reduce operating costs and saves money. For example, Babylon, an app helping n number of patients to cure. And during that menacing, dreadful days of lockdown, the abundant increase of stress and anxiety, the common factor that contribute to mental health. These artificial intelligence, these technologies help the country in a very productive and fruitful way. Sir, may I continue?
Yeah, you can continue. You still have 45 seconds to continue.
So now an example occurs if a human is doing something and she distracted by the notification of the unnecessarily mails of Swiggy and all. So these artificial intelligence can respond to those, or apps like Focus can help a student or a person, and if they aren't present, we got disturbed. And according to a science research, it took 21 minutes to back with the same consistency and with the same concentration. So I would like to conclude some points that artificial intelligence, the benefits of artificial intelligence, the reduction of human error, takes risk instead of human, available 24 into 7, digital assistance. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The points have been noted. Is there a point of order or a point of personal privilege that the opponent team would like to raise? Okay, thank you. With that, we'll move on to the next speaker. Can the member of the government please state that whenever they're ready, they can start?
Yes, sir. A very good evening to one and all present here. Today, I, Arushi June, member of government, stand before you speaking for the motion on the topic, Artificial Intelligence is a Threat to Human Employability. First of all, let's brush up the concepts. The opposition has clearly misunderstood automation with artificial intelligence. Automated system is one in which reasoning is by a clear if then else rule-based structure.
I'm really sorry, but yeah, you're raising your hand for something, participant?
Yes, sir. Firstly, her voice is cracking a lot, and secondly, she's speaking too faster. We are not able to hear her loudly and clear.
Okay. Participant, is it okay if you want to? I'm sorry, participant, but we can hear her clearly. But let's give it a doubt. See, the paceness is something that we cannot control. It's something that you cannot take into consideration. But Arushi, if you can just try speaking, because it's pretty clear to me. I don't understand. Like, can you just try speaking again? Just say some words so that she can figure out if it's coming properly.
Is it audible? Is it clear this time?
Kanika?
Yeah, a bit better.
Okay, you can continue with the same, Arushi.
Okay. AI system is one in which reasoning is by probability and possibility from various sets of input. For example, sensor data or a camera data is best possible course of action. So in case of automated system, there's a defined result. However, an artificial intelligence system will not necessarily provide the same behavior every time. AI is programmed to sense the world around it and then process the information and the choice of action made in a fashion similar to humans. So we are creating thinking machines. Let's talk about the threat of employability. The primary objective Behind the growth and development of artificial intelligence and robotics system is the demand for automation across a wide variety of industries and sectors. With the ultimate objective of reducing man hours and increasing efficiency, several prominent companies across the world have actively prescribed to participating in utilizing AI systems. Machines are good at low-skill repetitive jobs and at high speed, extremely precise jobs. This efficiency leads to a more prosperous and progressive world. But where do the employers go? Robots, driverless cars, and are no longer stuff of the fiction vision. They are with us today and are becoming common in coming years, along the AR, VR, and digital personal assistants. As these tools advance deeper into everyday use, there's a fundamental question: how do they transform our jobs and economy? Let me start with a few basic examples which all of us can easily connect. Firstly, doctors. AI applications are dramatically dropping the requirement of medical professionals. Say you notice a new mole on your arm. Is it just a sunspot or a melanoma? You can now take a picture with your phone and an AI algorithm can tell you. Accountants? Many professionals are already using AI system as aids. It won't be long before jobs involving time-consuming research into regulations and predicaments can be largely taken over by the artificial intelligence. Third, therapists. Computer psychotherapists are already available at a much less expense than human therapists, and surprisingly, they are helpful. As we know that demographics change is encouraging research in the potentially lucrative area of artificial carers for the elderly as well as robot nannies, jobs will be downskilled even if they're not lost. Let's talk about the facts and figures. Starting from 2012, due to customers choosing Google's AI system rather than developing relations in the sales sector, Google has taken away about 65% of salespeople's jobs that were primarily order takers, and the ones that are remaining are likely to be over in the next decade. Manufacturing jobs, construction jobs, and cleaning jobs are at a huge risk. 20 million manufacturing jobs alone are statistically proven to end by the mid-2030. Tasks which are rule-based, repetitive, and predictable, such as the ones mentioned above, are most vulnerable. We are at a risk of losing 375 million jobs worldwide by 2030. Underdeveloped countries or developing countries such as India, where in 2019 the unemployment rate was estimated to be 5.3%, which with the current pandemic has significantly just gone up. Do you think with the artificial intelligence technology coming, we would be able to make up for the margin of jobs taken? Is the labor skilled enough to fit into the employment of only the technological sector? I would like to conclude by saying that the way to think about artificial intelligence is a very powerful prediction engine, and the replacement or reduction of manpower we are seeing to date are just the tip of the iceberg. New types of jobs will doubtless appear, but whether these will be equivalent in terms of numbers, educational accessibility, and or breadwinning power, as happened after the Industrial Revolution, is doubtful. Serious socio-political challenges lie ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Points have been noted. Is there a point of order or a point of personal privilege that they would like to state? Yeah, please. I can't hear you, Kanika. It's muted, I guess. Kanika, you're muted. Unmute yourself. Yeah.
Sorry. Sir, point of order.
Go ahead.
Sir, yes, sir. Sir, I just want to say that ma'am has wrongly said that social media, that the humans can't express emotions over the internet or over the artificial intelligence. Do you even know the fact that social media network utilize artificial intelligence to advise more effectively to users? Social media sites also rely on artificial intelligence to improve user experience. For example, Facebook uses machine learning to recognize user space. Snapchat uses artificial intelligence technology to overlay filters. Emoticons are the well-growing factor here. So please, could you elaborate this point? What is your views here?
Sorry, participant. If it's a point of order, they can't elaborate. But this doesn't seem to be a point of order. This seems to be more like a point of information that has been raised. If you have a factual incorrection which you would like to state over this point, the judge would take it under consideration. But since
Sorry, sir. Sorry for interruption. Sir, maybe there is some misconception that I am offering for a point of this that I am offering for a point of information rather than point of order.
Okay, so are you stating a point of information now, or are you stating a point of order?
Sir, I'm stating a point of information to
Okay.
Archie.
Okay, I'm sorry, participant, but a point of information, as once I stated, can only be raised between the first minute and the third minute. So anything that before the first minute and after the third minute would not be taken under consideration. So we're really sorry that this question won't be taken under consideration.
Yes, sir, I got the point. I'm really sorry for inconvenience.
Not a problem at all. Okay, are you clear on the point of information being used? Thank you. Okay, with that, is there any other point of order or a point of information which the opponent team would like to make? No? Okay, with that, we'll move on to the next speaker. If we can have the member of the opposition party ready, she can start whenever she wants.
Yes, so am I audible and visible?
Yes.
Greetings, everyone. As we all know, in this period of new innovations and inventions, the whole world is growing and so are the discoveries in technology advancing. With innovations, new technologies are born, like artificial intelligence, nanotechnology, and machine learning. These new inventions then advance the course of work that is being done in business and in general. Moreover, these inventions have opened business for many who now offer artificial intelligence services and more. All what I believe is just like computers did not leave people out of their jobs in 80s and 90s when they were invented, artificial intelligence will have a similar impact over it. People these days, especially the employees, are really worried about losing their jobs to artificial intelligence. But such concerns have no factual backing. The World Economic Forum says that in the year 2022, around 113 jobs will be created. In fact, with the current rate of development, artificial intelligence is not far by a competitor, but at most a junior assistant. Artificial intelligence can indeed be trained to perform tasks flawlessly if given good examples. We have already been experiencing this in Gmail productive texts. It can also learn a lot more than simple language and sentences. However, it is likely to say that it could replace a trustworthy office assistant in drafting corporate emails. It is more the matter of assistant using productive writing to finish this task faster and to attain other things like traveling, planning a conference, or setting up room and all. As described in the previous example, artificial intelligence can take care of some of the most tedious tasks. It will also mean a significant change in the necessary training of specific jobs. The role of humans will shift from...
I'm really sorry, but there's been a point of information that's been raised. Would you like to answer the question, or would you like to?
Yes, please.
Okay.
You mentioned 132 million jobs will now be created, but these are all in the technological sphere. In 2022, but these are all in the technological sphere. How will the less educated or the ones who are not
jobs in all fields, not...
Participant, you can rectify your statement after she is done with the question. We'll give you enough time to rectify the same. Okay, thank you. Yeah, you can state the question.
But how will the less educated and the ones who are not majorly into the technological sphere be able to be a part of this?
You can say that there are many jobs, and as I have mentioned above, that in 2022 many jobs will be created. I have never mentioned that only in the IT sphere or only in the technological sphere. I have said that many jobs will be created in 2020 regarding all jobs of every sphere, whether agriculture jobs, as laborers, and everything.
Okay, you can continue with your statement once you want to.
If you will say that there are few jobs that can be completely wiped out because of artificial intelligence, then note this, that in every position there is a feedback loop. Some tasks are not filtered for machine learning. Everything which is related to people's skill, judgment, and ability to combine information to create something new that is beyond our imagination and expectation is still at only at the intelligence of humans. Automation will most likely speed up in some parts of the job which are already considered tedious and time consuming. It is a matter of giving employees the time back more to the human. This will likely result in people becoming more focused and creative. Now I will be telling about some more important points against this topic. Before artificial intelligence can be safely introduced in a workplace and become part of a natural workflow, it needs to be trained. The translation period in any company looking at these solutions will include a learning curve. Employees will need to learn operating the way of artificial intelligence and the correct they would use to do with an intern. With this, even after the internship period is over, the employee, not the machine, will still be held accountable for the results. The AI is just another tool, even if a highly impressive one. It will be more.
I'm really sorry, the time is up. We have to stop now. Thank you so much. Your points have been taken under consideration. Is there a point of order or a point of personal privilege that the opponent team would like to raise? Yeah.
Point of order.
Go ahead.
So it was said that no jobs will be lost, but according to research, 5% of jobs will be wiped out by 2030, by mid 2030. And this is not the 5% of employees. This is the 5% of total number of jobs.
Okay. Judge?
Yeah, member government, I will take your point of order into consideration in my decision because the factual arguments presented by member opposition have some inaccuracies in terms of specific job losses in different sectors. So I will take that into account and allow it.
Okay. Participant, you cannot readdress the situation. It's only upon the implication of the judge to take it into the consideration or not. So we're sorry, we can't uphold that your point. Okay. So with that, thank you so much. We end the first part of the debate. Moving ahead, we move on to the rebuttal round. Now there are 2 points which I would like you guys to take under consideration. One, there won't be any point of information in the rounds of rebuttal. There'll only be a point of order that you can raise or a point of personal privilege that you can raise. Please note that new facts cannot be brought into light during rounds of rebuttal. Only the existing facts that persist, that was discussed under the purview of the rebuttal can only be put across. So with that, if the leader of the opposition party is ready, she can start with the rebuttal. Kanika, you're muted. Yeah, you can start anytime.
Yes. So our society will gain countless hours of productivity with just the introduction of this autonomous transportation and artificial intelligence influencing our traffic issues, not to mention the other ways it will improve on the job productivity. Maps can more easily incorporate user and it can you can say uh, and it can help the uh, to improve on the job productivity. Maps can more easily incorporate user reported traffic incidents like construction and accidents. Maps can reduce commutes by suggesting the fastest routes to and from work. Imagine if we humans work for this particular. Hope you got the funny factor. Everyone will be fighting and harrowing. Then obviously it will lead to an increase of fighting riots and all. Most large banks offer the ability to deposit checks through a smartphone app, eliminating a need for customers to physically deliver a check to the bank. And app like Paytm, Google Pay, Phone Pay, it can also reduce the pollution criteria due to the transportation factor. And lastly, I want to mention that social media. Most social media networks allow marketers to run massive paid ad campaigns, and without artificial intelligence, marketers spend lots of money creating and distributing content for each campaign. However, artificial intelligence technology can lead to write creative social media ads on its own. These ads are optimized to generate clicks and conversions, and they can even include shortened links and hashtags. And this will definitely reduce the paperwork and shortage of paper than the uh, than the for the future generation. So I just want to mention that at last the artificial intelligence helps the future generation in a very productive and in fruitful way. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Points have been taken. Is there a point of order or a point of personal privilege that the opponent would like to
Yeah,
raise?
I have a point. Just give me a couple of minutes. I'm just checking on my internet connectivity. Yeah, sorry, please continue, Madam Prime Minister.
Okay. Prime Minister, you can start your presentation whenever you're ready.
Thanks, sir. Let's take the stakeholder analysis. Firstly, the workers in various companies doing low-grade jobs will be displaced. In place of them, AI being introduced will be more efficient and effective, and therefore the company heads will profit out of higher outputs. Sure, many new jobs in the technological sphere will be created, but will the unemployed be fit for these? The birth of a general intelligence, no matter how you see our future, from artificial intelligence exterminating humanity to it spurring us onto the next stage of our evolution. Artificial intelligence could be the last invention that humans make alone. These days, machines are grading the essence of the students. They are diagnosing the diseases. Then what are the doctors, university professors going to do? If we have the machines that can do science better than we humans, then I think that there on the further progress is driven by machines only. I strongly believe that here a whole post-human condition becomes possible. Machines do not require sick leaves, they are more efficient, then why do we need a human to perform the tasks? It becomes quite evident that it is just a matter of time that all the jobs will be wiped out soon. So I'm completed.
Sorry, you completed?
Yes, sir, I've completed.
Okay, you can rest it, please. Okay, fine. Thank you so much. Uh, Points have been taken. Is there any point of order or a point of personal privilege that they would like to raise? Okay, thank you. Please raise. Yeah, please
I
take.
have a point of order that according to a research, 2 million jobs will be created due to this artificial intelligence. So I believe that it will make a balance between the number of jobs that people are losing and the number of jobs people are gaining. So I don't think that they will lose any job, because in fact, after the invention of these artificial intelligence, the literacy rate of India is also increasing, because people are trying to study even more harder to get the better jobs, and the rest of the people, they are also being employed in the rural areas.
Uh,
So I think it will make a balance, and we should
uh,
not say.
I'm sorry, Gurmia. Can you please state it in form of a factual incorrection which she has made?
She said that like there will be less jobs in the future, but I have just researched, and I'm telling you that um, after the invention of these artificial intelligence, 2 million people have got job, and they are even getting more jobs day by day. And their repairing of these artificial intelligence machine also needs some people that can and like they are not.
Okay, thank you so much. I think you made your point. Judge, I'm sorry. Judge, what would you?
Yeah, I'd just like to add one thing. Although this is a point that you could have raised in your rebuttal, I don't think it is right to allow it as a point of order, mainly because this research is not conclusive evidence to point towards the creation or loss of job opportunities across the economy. So, because there's no conclusive proof on it, you cannot make a point of order on it, but you could have used it as a rebuttal. So I'm sorry, member opposition, I cannot allow this point of order.
Okay, thank you so much. With that, we come to the end of the debate. Uh, I hope you girls had a great time. It was a really good debate. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And Judge, would you like to talk more about the debate as to how the debate was and how they can improve on?
Yeah, I really enjoyed a lot of points made because um, they not only focused on the usual number statistic arguments presented from both sides, but also looked at some of the principles that need to be accounted for. For example, I'm not sure who raised this point, but it was about whether the people who lose jobs from AI automation, can they be employed in the new jobs that are created with the introduction of AI? Now, I think that's a very significant point that needs to be analyzed, and that was well brought up. And I would just suggest all of you to not only rely on research, but also use research, fi- try to research some arguments and find some reports that go against your point. Now, for example, like the job creation statistics versus the job losses statistics, try to find reports on both sides of the issue. And in doing so, when you're representing one side, you can use the other report to, in a way, make a defense of your own point itself. So that way you engage with both sides of the issue, but also advance your argument as opposition or government either way.
Okay. Yeah, I think that would be all. Judge, thank you so much for your advice. Moving ahead, if we let you girls know by tomorrow morning if you are into the round of 16. But until then, stay safe. I hope you had a great event. Thank you so much for participating. And I really like the debate. It was really great. I really like the fact that all four of you emphasize more on actions rather than just reading it from a book or a paper. So that's one thing that I liked a lot. Uh, Great work. I don't think I can add up on anything that Shubhranshu said to say. So have a nice day. We'll keep you updated. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Bye, guys. Stay safe.
Thank you.
You're welcome.